In patch 2 of Attila, there have been some changes to spear infantry. Quite a few spear infantry units, not the spear levy though. The Germanic spearmen, the noble Germanic spearmen. Let's see, here they are. Germanic spearmasters. Quite a few other units have gotten the heavy spear, the spear that has a 30 bonus against large, which should make spears able to kill cavalry a lot faster in melee. The question is whether there are any spearmen left alive to do the killing after they have gotten charged by cavalry. So what we have here is we have a huge line of Germanic levy, Germanic spearmen and Germanic spearmasters. They have expert charge. The reason why I have them in 2 ranks deep and then in 5 ranks deep is because 5 ranks deep, of course, increases bracing, it maximizes bracing, so it increases the mass of each man in the unit, allowing them to withstand the mass of shock cavalry charging them better. We have heavy shock cavalry here, which is very dangerous to infantry. So we're going to see the difference between charging into 2 ranks deep and charging into 5 ranks deep to see how big it is. Now, 2 ranks deep, the spears do cause casualties to the Grivpanvar on the charge, because the spears, if they're braced, they get expert charge defense, which means that the Grivpanvar are going to be doing damage to themselves essentially when charging, but they're also going to be destroying the spear unit in a single charge. Now, when the Grivpanvar are charging 5 ranks deep here, let's see what happens. Germanic levies should be able to hold a bit better when they are 5 ranks deep. So they eat the charge, they do a bit of damage, the Grivpanvar pull out immediately, and 48 Grivpanvar remaining, 39 over there. Let's charge in again and see what happens. So 42, when we pull out, we're going to be having 33 Grivpanvars remaining. So it did take more time, we did lose more Grivpanvars. These units did come back from routing. So having bracing and limiting the amount of contact points between the infantry and the cavalry by being deeper is effective. However, the problem is, of course, in a battlefield situation, it's going to be very difficult to get this kind of bracing against any kind of cavalry. If you don't though, here you have some Germanic spearmen, better than the levy. They 43 Grivpanvar remaining here, and they took the charge like bosses here. But spread 2 ranks deep, they don't really do too well at all. They do more, seem to do more impact, more expert charge defense damage because there are more contact points, but that also means that they just get more wrecked. So once again, Grivpanvar charging into spears from the front, pulling out, and the Grivpanvar do lose more men than against the levy units. They will still do a decent job against the Germanic spearmen. But if they charge in again here, they might be in trouble. Now, just to illustrate how ridiculously bad a sword unit is at this, 60 men remaining in the unit, and the Sarmatian warband just disappears. So expert charge defense definitely helps spears against these cycling cavalry charges. Here we have Germanic spearmasters, 2 ranks deep. They do quite a lot of expert charge defense damage. They also lose quite a few men. And charging into Germanic spearmasters 5 ranks deeper and Germanic spearmasters, this destroys the Grivpanvar. The Germanic spearmasters don't do too well. They are very expensive units, but they are able to defeat shock cavalry that charges straight into them. And this is when not even using the spear wall that's going to increase their mass and their bonus. Let's see here. Oh, come on. It's kind of annoying that it's so hard to... Yeah, I can't... Anyway. It keeps going back to my journal, even though... And that's the problem with not having enough information on the unit cards. So, over here, Germanic levy in spear wall. Spear wall does help it a little bit, but it just gets wrecked. It helps it significantly in doing
The enemy have rallied their units.
expert charge damage when it's spread very thin. So I'm losing a lot of these Grivpanvar here up against the Germanic levy, more than I did before. So here, Grivpanvar charging into the Germanic spearmen. The Germanic spearmen held exceedingly well when they were in spear wall, and I did lose a lot of men here, both men and horses. And once again, looks like I might not be able to defeat these Germanic spearmen here. They do weird stuff, move forward when they have when they've gotten charged in their spear wall, so that is a bit weird. But they keep reforming without getting orders, and that's bad that it still keeps doing that. So the Sarmatian warband, ooh, super wrecked. Just for illustration, the Germanic spearmen hold much better, 5 ranks deep of course, and these guys kind of ruined the thing because they made contact over there. But the final unit to test now will be the Germanic Spear Masters. They are going to be in wall as well. So you can see the Grivpanvar, they have a decent amount of armor and a decent amount of health. They hurt really, really bad when they charge into spears from the front. Not as much levy spears, but if they charge into braced spears, and especially spears in spear wall, then the Grivpanvar are going to be in a lot of pain. So let's see here. Charging into the Germanic spears from the front. And they made a dent, but that's about all they did. Very nicely done by the Germanic spears, but then they start reforming, which is bad. Again, into the Germanic Spearmasters. Took a few more casualties this time, but the Grivpanvar cataphracts are also getting wrecked, so charging into Germanic Spearmasters from the front, not really effective. Doing the same thing over here to Germanic Spearmasters 2 ranks deep. The Germanic Spearmasters 2 ranks deep lose a lot of men, but they also cause almost destroy the Grivpanvar cataphracts. And then they reform, which again is very bad. But they are going to be able to defeat the Grivpanvar. So in patch 2, one needs to be a bit more careful about charging spears frontally. Now there won't be too many spears on the field, I assume, so it's not really going to matter that much. But it might be worth bringing spears for the anti-cavalry support in the blob. Now, it's a bit questionable whether that really is necessary, because the 30 bonus, sure, it's nice, but it's only 10 more than a 20 bonus. And even though it did make Tagmata overpowered as balls, a lot of other factors made the Tagmata overpowered as well. So these units that have a 30 bonus against large, they are also a bit on the expensive side. So I don't think they will have a huge impact on the battlefield because they are so expensive. And because there are other good alternatives to tying down enemy cavalry, cheap melee infantry for example. But we'll see how it plays out. So to sum this up, the more you brace, the better, the more men are going to survive the encounter. The problem is though that bracing and being 5 ranks deep and in an immobile wall isn't really feasible to do against a human opponent that would just move around and start attacking you from the back or attack you with infantry. It's not going to be easy to do. But spears, yes, they are more durable to cavalry charges than swords. Like these Sarmatians just got absolutely wrecked. But I still have a bit of an issue seeing the place for elite spears in armies considering their price. Strength and honor.